What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Studio Time. I believe this is episode 8. I'm definitely glad to be here. Glad to have my co-host Justin here. What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, man. I'm excited about today's episode. I've been a big fan of our guests for a couple years now. So
I don't know who you're talking about, bro. We ain't got no guest this week. Nah, we do have a very special guest. I've been looking forward to this episode. This is not his first time on my podcast. This is his first time on this version of the podcast. But he was on here about a year and a half ago, and that was a pretty good episode. But this episode is going to be even better. I know you guys are waiting on me to shut up and make this intro for our very special guest. But you guys already know him. He really needs no introduction, but I'm gonna do it anyway. You guys know him for his food reviews on social media. His credits include McDonald's, uh, Cartoon Network. He's done things with Will Smith, Pandora, Bobcat, Walmart, Bally Sports, Isuzu, American Greetings. His voice acting talent is next to none, and his voice is instantly recognizable with that velvety smooth voice that he has. But without any further delay, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Stefan Johnson. What's going on, sir?
Stu, Justin, I appreciate you guys having me on yet again. It's an honor and a privilege, gentlemen.
Man, it's so glad to have you. We're so glad to have you here. Such a privilege to have you here. But we're not gonna delay any further. We're gonna get right into the meat and potatoes. Everybody knows who you are by this point. You kind of famous, just a little
I
bit.
don't think so. I hate that word. I hate that word. I think you know that. I think you know.
I know. Tell us a little bit about your origin story. Where did you get your start, and how did you get to where you are now? Just give us the bullet points real quick.
Yeah, bullet points. I've been voice acting professionally for about 12 years now. It started from high school doing the morning announcements. I ended up
Mm-hmm.
graduating, going to broadcasting school. Didn't take it seriously at first until about 7 years ago. I started to take voice acting very seriously, and
Mm-hmm.
then started to get more clients, and then built up my career and been doing that full time for about 4 years. And then the pandemic hit. Made a video on a little app called TikTok. Did not expect things to end
TikTok,
up
what is
blowing
that?
up.
Never
Yeah,
heard of
like
it.
what the fuck is that? But then made a video. It accidentally went viral. Made another video that accidentally went viral, and here I am at 7.6 million followers over there. So it's been a fun little ride.
Ooh,
Yeah,
congratulations on the 7.6 million followers.
appreciate you.
Yeah, you mentioned that you started taking it seriously about 7 years ago, which is
Mhm.
about the time I met you.
Yeah,
I think
yeah, you're right.
yeah, I met you through a mutual friend, Carter,
Yep.
who was working at the movie theater at the time, and I was like,
Mhm.
man, like who is this nerdy guy with the deep voice? Um, I was like, I like this guy. He's a nerd like me, and he likes music. He loves Prince as I
Yes,
do,
sir.
and he
Yes,
loves
sir.
food. I mean,
Yes, sir.
what can go wrong there? But yeah, that's a great origin story. Did you ever think that voice acting would even be a possibility before you started taking it serious?
Well, I mean, I guess part of the reason I didn't take it seriously because I kind of thought it was a long shot, even though I
Mm-hmm.
graduated with my certification in broadcasting. And I had a lot of distractions too. I was in a very popular band with Carter that was pretty popular around the city. We were pursuing things like trying to do Warped Tour and recording demos, hoping to record an album. We were distracted. I was distracted. But then once that fizzled out and a few other musical things kind of fizzled out, I was like, you know what? Let's try this voice acting thing. And then I
Yeah.
ended up building a studio, getting some clientele, got a couple of agents, and then I got to the point where I was so busy I had to quit my day job. And again, been rocking it full time about 5 years.
Yeah,
that's
that's the
awesome.
goal. That's the goal. We all want to get so busy that we're doing something that we love that we have to quit our day job. So,
Mhm.
what was it like taking that leap once you got to that point?
Yeah.
What was it like on that jumping off point?
I mean, it's scary as shit. It's like you
I bet.
You just have to make sure that you have the right people in your corner and you take the right preparations to make sure you don't set yourself up for the woo woo. Like, I
Mhm.
paid off a bunch of debt. I built up a nest egg. I talked to my wife, then girlfriend, about it. Talked to my mom about it. Talked to my agent at the time, and everyone just gave a collective, "We got you." You know what I mean? In case things hit the fan, they all had my
Mhm.
back. And luckily, I'm again 5 years later at a point where I am now able to take care of all of them. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it ended up working out.
That's awesome. That's awesome. With that support system,
Mhm.
they kind of keep you from becoming more distracted. I know you
Mhm.
mentioned distractions before. How do you
Yeah.
keep from getting distracted now that you have a little bit more uh access
Yeah.
to certain opportunities?
Well, I mean, it's about kind of I'm distracted every day because I have ADHD, like clinically diagnosed ADHD, real talk.
As do
Um,
I.
yeah, you know what I mean? So you know the struggle, like
Yeah.
literally like we're squirrels, like we see shiny in the corner and we're all like
Like,
squirrels.
what is that?
You know what I mean? So it's about harnessing these distractions with me. Like me, I'm
Hmm.
distracted by like new ventures. I'll decide I want to take this up, learn this instrument, or I want to start taking acting classes or whatever it is. And then it's all about just honing distractions, figuring out which one can actually lead to something productive, and then pursuing them one at a time. Because I kind of figured that at a certain point, you try and do so many things at a certain time, you become a jack of all trades, master of none. So if you
Hmm.
find one distraction, decide it's worth focusing on, focus on it, master it, then move on to the next distraction. That's my little
Yeah.
weird pseudo way of handling distractions.
No, no, that makes complete sense. We've been talking about that for like the last few weeks, haven't we,
Yeah.
Justin?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
uh,
Well, and I was going to
when
ask
it
you
when it
about like
comes to, oh, go ahead, go ahead.
well, procrastination. Like I'm a
Mhm.
horrible procrastinator.
Yep.
Do you have that problem too? And how do you kind
Yeah.
of deal with that day to day? I guess.
Well, I mean, I kind of have like episodes where I don't feel like doing anything, but then I have it's balanced out because then I have my episodes where I just feel like doing everything.
Oh, okay.
So,
Hmm.
like even after this, when we're done recording, I'm about to record like about 20 reviews, 20 videos, 20 lists. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Just because I'm
Hmm.
in one of my moods where I just want to get things done. So then it kind of
Hmm.
balances out. So those days where I have my procrastination moods and I don't feel like posting a video, editing a video, recording a video, I have about 20 to 30 videos in the bank that I could just go and get out there. And I have that same method with a bunch of different things, whether it's my music, whether it's with my reading or my practices. I just kind of bulk up. I kind of just, you know, bulk sessions.
Stockpile, right?
I
Yeah,
Yeah.
stockpile, you know what I
yeah.
mean? So,
Nice.
Yeah, I do the same thing with my podcast. Whenever I record these episodes,
yeah.
I usually cut it up into 3 or 4 clips, and then I got
Mhm.
my episodes for the week, and I don't have to worry
Mhm.
about recording any more videos or doing any more editing because I usually edit them all at the same time, back to
Exactly.
back.
Yep.
So yeah, when you are a family man, husband, wife, like
Mhm.
Justin and I are, we got kids, and ADHD. You got to figure out ways how to navigate through the constant
Yeah.
distractions. And I want to go back to something you said about
Mhm.
picking something and mastering it. We have been talking about that for the last couple episodes
Mhm.
when it comes to creativity and being creatively consistent.
Mhm.
One thing that helps being creatively consistent is focus. And, like we said, for people that have ADHD,
Mhm.
that can seem like an impossible task.
Yeah.
But what has worked for me, and I assume it's working for you, is just picking the picking something that you are good at, picking the thing that comes easiest to you,
Mhm.
and then mastering it,
Yeah.
becoming proficient at it, knowing the ins and out of it. And also what helps that is being able to teach it to someone else. That's the whole reason I started this podcast.
Mhm.
I'm pretty knowledgeable about movies as it is, but I'm still at the beginning stages of my filmmaking career,
I
and I
got you.
don't know everything, but I know a little bit of something. So I figured, why don't I share what I do know with people, and they can learn with me and see my journey as I grow, because everybody loves an origin story, and
Yeah.
I definitely wanted to share my origin story
Yeah.
with the world. So I'm so glad that you brought up the distractions and
Mhm.
being focused, because that's what all of this is about, just filtering out the distractions,
Yeah.
focusing on something that fulfills you, brings you joy, and something that can take care of your people, and just moving forward, man.
Absolutely. That's the name of the game.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, I wanted to ask you about some of your voice acting roles. Let me go to IMDb here.
Oh gosh.
Um, I noticed
Yeah.
that you were in 3 episodes. Oh no, 1 episode. You played 3 different voices. 1 episode of one of my favorite TV series, and that is Primal.
Primal. Yeah. That was a
I love Primal, and I was reading your IMDb yesterday,
yeah.
and I was like, I did not know he was in this show. Like, who did he play? And it said Warrior 4, 5, and 6. I was like, I have to go rewatch that episode so I can figure out who he was.
Yeah.
How was it being on Primal?
Well, I mean, it's a fun gig, one I didn't expect. It came through my LA agent, the opportunity. They needed someone to come in and do a bunch of efforts, and efforts are basically, for those who don't know, a bunch of like the just random grunts and shouts that may come from a fight scene or a death scene and stuff like that. And they needed someone who could do three different distinct voices, and they needed them all to be, of course, pretty burly, gruff, manly men, cavemen, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
So my
yeah.
agent thought about me, had me send in the audition. They reached back out to me same day and said, Stefan, they want to record later on tonight with you. And I'm like, oh shit, that fast? Okay, cool. So you know what I mean? And I'm like, but it's Cartoon Network, so you're going to make the time. So you know what I mean? So I just cleared my evening and hopped on a Source Connect session with the producers over at Adult Swim or Cartoon Network, and we knocked it out in about 2 hours. I felt my throat felt like corned beef afterwards. It was a rough
Wow.
go because it was about 2 hours of just the most guttural, like screaming and battle cries and death like moans you could ever imagine. So it was a rough
Yeah.
go, but it was fun.
I love Primal. That's one of my
Mhm,
favorite TV shows to come out in like the last 10 years.
mhm.
Um, and nobody really says anything. It's just a bunch of grunts.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's such a great emotional
Oh
TV
yeah.
show.
Oh yeah.
And I was really excited to get my wife into it. I was like,
Mhm.
you're gonna love this show. They don't
Yeah.
say much because
Right.
they're cavemen and dinosaurs, but
Yeah.
you are going to love this show because it is going to take you on like this emotional journey. It like kind of like how we were talking about Iron Giant the other day, Justin.
Yeah, yeah.
Um and you always bring up the Ted Lasso episodes like just wait.
Right.
And I
By the
love
end of this, you're gonna be crying.
Yeah, and I love the show because, again, like you say, they don't say much. It's majority just grunts and screams, but it's not about
Mhm.
what they're saying. It's about how they say it. Like me,
Yes.
I'm in acting class right now. I study the Meisner acting technique, and it's pretty
Hmm.
much about living the reality of an imaginary situation. And it's not about what you say, but it's about how you say it. One of the main
Hmm.
exercises in the Meisner technique is called the repetition, where you and your partner pick like one word or one phrase. Like I'll say, "You're wearing a black shirt." You repeat back to me, "I'm wearing a black shirt," and then you just repeat it back and forth to each other, and then eventually your mood of it starts to change. You start to notice your emotions on your
Oh,
partner, and then it becomes, you have a black shirt, you have a black shirt, you know what I mean? So it's like you're saying the same thing, and at a certain point what you're saying doesn't matter. It's all about the emotion behind what you say. And Primal is an amazing show within the voice acting realm because, again, it's all grunts, but you have to
Right.
hmm,
convey these messages of fear or sincerity or love with just a grunt or a hoot or something like that. It's just an amazing thing to watch and just even close your eyes and hear sometimes.
absolutely, absolutely.
Mhm.
Um, Kev on stage made a video about how black people say "you straight," and like
Exactly.
it's the exact
Exactly.
same principle.
Yeah,
You
that's my
straight?
answer. Hmm.
You straight?
You straight. Yeah, you straight. You
And
straight. Yeah.
they all got different meanings. Like you
Yeah.
straight could mean
Mhm.
are you good? Are you okay? You need anything? You
Mhm.
straight could mean do
Mhm.
you know who you think you talking to? Like
Yeah, exactly.
so
Exactly.
yeah, that's amazing. I'm glad you brought up
Mhm.
acting. I wanted to talk about the transition
Mhm.
from voice acting to screen acting.
Yeah.
Was it a rough transition? Was it smooth? Are you still transitioning? I know you have a few movie credits
Yeah.
under your name. You got Cherry with Tom Holland and the Russo brothers. You got Black Klansman. So how has that transition been for you?
Well, I mean, it was a sudden and unexpected transition. I just started getting invited to things just because of the nature of what I do on social media. The
Hmm.
Russo brother thing came by complete accident. I actually auditioned to be, not even auditioned, I got selected to be an extra, which was just like a background person. Someone was supposed to help fill out the background. And then
Hmm.
that scene, they end up deciding that it would be kind of unrealistic for Tom Holland to be kind of roughing up his leading lady and no one intervened. So Joe
Hmm.
Russo looked around, and I guess because I was one of the bigger guys in the crowd, was like, "Hey, do you want a couple lines?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And then he heard my voice. He was like, "Oh yeah, definitely you." So then, you know what I mean? So then me, him, and Tom Holland just had a little powwow, figured out what I would say, and then I said it. And then more opportunities like that just kind of happened to come from my social media side of things. Like Kevin Hart's company, Heartbeat, reached out to me to fly to LA and be a part of a Gillette commercial. And then the Black Klansman came up. And then I'm like, okay, so all these things are kind of just being thrown into me. This might be a new normal for me. Let me learn how to do this properly. And that's when I signed up
Hmm.
for Jessica Hood School of Acting here in Cleveland. And I've been with them for just under a year now.
Russo brothers story is kind of amazing because I used
Mhm.
to live in Los Angeles, and so
Yeah.
I did my fair share of background work, and I
Mhm.
was mostly doing it just for money, and it was fun being
Yeah.
on set and
Absolutely.
learning the on-set kind of culture and everything.
Hmm.
But there are people who I feel like go their entire lives doing background work, hoping, waiting for the day where the
Yeah.
director will come up to them and be like, "You want a line?"
Hmm.
And it
Yeah.
very rarely happens. It seems like so. That's kind of an
Yeah. I
amazing
lucked out.
story.
I
Yeah,
lucked out. Right place, right time.
yeah, exactly.
That's what a lot of it is, especially with networking just in the film industry itself. You'll be surprised how many gigs you get just from knowing the right person, from just making a good connection. Someone
Hmm.
remembers your personality from another set you shared with them, and then you get a call a month later, like, "Hey, I got this project going on. I thought about you. Are you available?" Word of mouth and being at the right place at the right time is a lot of what gets you really deep into the film industry.
Yeah, for sure. There are quite a few people who transition from different professions into on-screen acting
Mhm.
in the 90s and early 2000s. It was all about the rappers becoming actors. You
Yeah.
had Tupac, who
Q.
everybody
Hmm.
raved about
Mhm.
his talent as an actor.
Yeah.
And some people believe he would have won a couple Oscars, had he
Oh,
still
for
been
sure.
with us.
Yeah.
And then you got, obviously, Will Smith, who was probably the greatest example of that.
Yeah.
Who, he became the biggest movie star in the world and dominated the box office for like 10 years.
Yeah.
But now, we're, 20 some years into the 21st century, and things are kind of shifting to the internet. Well, they've already shifted to the internet,
Mhm.
and the online audience. And now those people who are transitioning to on screen are social media influencers.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to see how the the pace of growth has increased when it comes to the entertainment industry. And I think you would agree with me that it's because that so many people have instant access to you.
Yeah.
Maybe not the real you, but whatever persona that you put online. and
Yeah.
and companies see that. It was like, hey, maybe we could use this guy, put him in front of the camera for our product. They see your charisma, they see your talent, and a producer might see that and like, hey, you want to be in a movie for this real quick, because we're not, we got Drewski, he's in movies. We
Mhm.
got DC Young Fly,
Yep.
who's blown up over the last 5 years. He started
Yep.
out making 6-second videos on Vine.
On Vine, right? Vine.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. So um how has your social media influence kind of influence your on-screen acting? How has that helped you with acting?
Well, I'll just say, like me, I always tell people this, and like it's never a knock to myself or self deprivation or anything like that. But me,
Hmm.
I don't believe I'm the most talented guy in the world. But the one thing I'm
Hmm.
good at is being visible. letting people know I exist. And that's where the social media thing comes in. I have, again, 7.6 million followers, 700K on Instagram. That's a lot of people just to watch you do whatever you're doing. So every once in a while, in between me doing my food reviews or making a comedy video, I'll make sure I kind of turn it on, if you will. Like I'll start a video like the top 10 honey buns or the top 10, you know what I mean, just kind of turn the voice
Yeah.
acting on, or
Mm.
I'll add a little bit more of like the more slapstick comedy or drama to a video or something like that, show off maybe a little bit of my acting chops or whatever it is, maybe to
Mm-hmm.
include like a 5-second skit that's just me doing some kind of random whatever, more so on the drama or acting side or whatnot. And
Mm-hmm.
again, just those little touches right there, just those kind of like almost incognito touches, you're putting it out there into the world. And out of the thousands of people who are able to see your videos, one or two of them is going to be a producer, one or two of them is going to be a casting director or a
Yeah.
talent agent or whatnot. My agent, my biggest agent, SBV in LA, they found me on TikTok from a food review. They saw me doing like a fry video. They were like, oh, he has an amazing voice, it'd be great if he was a voice actor. They went on my website, oh bingo, he is a fucking voice actor. And they reached out to me, and again, they're like one of the biggest agents in LA. For them to reach out to an individual is rare, but they happened to see me. I was visible,
Yeah.
and here we are. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
How do you well, it's not hard now, but
Mhm.
how did you try to remain visible? How, like, for someone who is an introvert and not really familiar or comfortable with being visible and being on camera, how would you, what advice would you give that person to make people aware of them?
Well, I mean that's a funny thing you say that, because I am 100% an introvert. I mean, I am the type of
Absolutely.
person where, like, if I'm out in the crowd for too long, I need to really pull back and kind of recharge for a little bit.
Same.
But doing like the whole social media thing, it's a good caveat because you do have that wall. You could be super visible, but at the end of the day, you can put the phone down and not,
Hmm.
you have to, deal with people if you don't really want to. It gets a little
Hmm.
it gets a little, kind of overwhelming sometimes being out in the real world, because now I'm at the point where people recognize me every day.
Hmm.
But it's a matter of you looking at your options. You can say, hey, I'm going to go out today, and you know what's coming, and you just kind of mentally prepare yourself for it. Or you can say, you know what, I can't really deal with it today. I can stay home or do what I got to do. It's tough for an introvert to navigate, though, because at the end of the day, you become a public figure at a certain point,
Hmm.
and you never want to be me. I overthink. I'll be like, you don't want to,
Absolutely.
what I mean? You don't want to come off as standoffish to someone. Like if they come up to you and you get overwhelmed and, they're all in your face and like saying, I love you. And, you don't want to come off as weird. You don't want to come off as mean, so then you're putting on that smile. You hope that they leave the interaction with you thinking well of you and thinking, not having a bad time
Hmm.
or whatever it is. But again,
Yeah.
it's tough. I think it goes from individual to individual, and you got to kind of find your own coping mechanisms.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely an introvert myself.
Mhm.
I can be very socially awkward, but
Same,
um
same.
what, just for me, it's making the habit of being in front of the camera.
Yeah.
I've been on YouTube now for 3 years,
Mhm.
maybe a little less. I've been doing this podcast um for about a year now. And of course, it's awkward at first, but
Mhm.
you the more you do it, the more comfortable you become. There's always going to be that little thing, that little voice in the back of your head saying, you're weird, you're not good enough, or whatever.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And you just gotta turn it off for a second, because it's not going to completely go off,
Yeah.
but just turn it off for a second, do the work, and then before you know it, that voice will be gone. It's gonna come back later, but
Mhm.
Mm.
that
For sure.
that voice is gonna be gone. But yeah, just for me, it was just, practice makes perfect. I
Absolutely.
was not always comfortable in front of the camera. If you go back and look at my old YouTube videos, which I have since taken down,
I got it.
but if you were to see them, you could see how so awkward I was. in front of the camera. I say this all the time with my old movie reviews. My reviews were too long. My editing was trash. My video was overexposed. Like it was so terrible. But like I said, practice makes perfect. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you get recognized pretty often with 7 million followers? Do you like when you go to like fast food places to
Mhm.
get stuff? Are they like, is this a food review? You know?
Yep, every day. Every single day, like, it's
Really?
literally at that point now where, like, yeah, like, anywhere I go, I'm getting recognized, especially at the food spots, and it's a
Right.
blessing and a curse because me, I try to do honest reviews, so I
Yeah.
try to review food as anyone else is gonna get it, and it's tough when the people recognize you, that if you're at a sit-down spot and the manager recognizes you, and
Oh
then
yeah.
you're getting that extra treatment, that extra kind of nudge or whatever it is,
Right.
and then you may not be getting exactly what they get. And I've done the thing where I've had my wife go in and order food for me, or I'll do DoorDash and I won't answer the door. I'll have my wife do it, or I'll just, I've even gone as far as like wearing like a hood and sunglasses sometimes
Right.
to get my food. You know what I mean? Just so I know I'm getting like what I anyone else would get. You know.
Yeah.
yeah.
And then if I'm just in the store, just walking around or in the mall, like literally, I'll get people running up to me and saying, "Hey, are you the guy?" You know what I mean? Trying to get me to try their food that they're currently eating, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Weirdos. You know what I mean? But
Right. Right.
so yeah, it's like an everyday thing at this point.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty that's awkward, but it's awesome at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could see how that would stress you out.
Yeah.
But I wanted to transition into the the strike. I know that work has been kind of weird for actors, writers, and voice actors at this point. So just to educate our listeners and educate our viewers, for those of you that for those of us that don't know, why exactly are the actors striking? I know a lot of us know, but
Yeah.
there are various reasons. But
Yeah.
if you can give us, a little bit more detail on what exactly is going on with that strike.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a myriad of things. There's literally, I could talk
Mm,
about an hour for it, but it really boils
mhm,
down to actors demanding a lot of protections that we should have had decades ago, that people are just kind of
mhm,
fed up with. And the straw that kind of broke the camel's back was the emergence of AI. And AI kind of um, there's some very little protections for actors against AI. There was recently a film set about a year or two ago where all of the background actors, they signed your contract, you know what I mean, releasing your image for the production. But there was a clause in that contract that also released their images for AI reproduction in any future films that producer or director um, put on. So basically, all of their faces were scanned at either the beginning or the end of the shoot. And unknowingly, those actors, however many hundreds there were, signed away their likeness so that their faces can be used in AI generated extras, characters in perpetuity. And perpetuity means forever. So,
mhm,
and there have been multiple cases like that over the last few years or so. So that on top of wage disagreements, on top of on-set protections, whether it be physical danger, sexual harassment, pay, there's a lot of things that have been slipping through the cracks.
mhm,
So the union went to um, the powers that be a couple months ago and tried to find at least a happy middle ground. And the powers that be were not willing to budge at all. So that's when Fran Drescher, the leader of SAG, decided, it's time to kind of put
it's
our feet
time.
down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's going to be a long haul, I believe, but it's needed.
Yeah,
I was,
I mean it's already a long haul, so I definitely believe that it's going to get even longer. So
Yeah.
I was listening to a podcast today that was talking about the last time that the Writers Guild and the Actors Guild went on strike at the same time. I
Hmm.
think was 1960 or sometime in the
Yeah.
1960s.
Yeah. About
And
60 years
out
ago.
of that strike was where residuals came from, and
Hmm.
I think even like health insurance. So
Hmm.
that it was kind of monumental then, and it's
Yeah.
monumental now because of like you said, AI and streaming services and all, and just how everything
Yeah.
has changed. So
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, because with the way things like Network and Hulu works right now,
Mhm.
literally these companies are making billions off of these actors and writers and work, and they're not seeing anything of it. You
Right.
get your pay, you get your money at the box office, and you get your money for the session time or set time itself, but you're getting nothing for streaming and the millions of dollars you're bringing these entities daily, and it's not right. And it's another one of those things that the powers that be were not willing to budge on. So we said, guess what? We're not going to budge on this. So
Yep.
here we are.
And the thing that I've been seeing online, especially like in the comment section on IG and stuff,
Mhm.
like people don't realize what is going on as far as like the personal side of this strike for
Yeah.
the actors and the writers,
Mhm.
and now the visual effects artists. They think that just because you're in the entertainment industry, you're rich, and that is
Um,
not the case.
yeah.
Actors, writers, anybody, they live paycheck to paycheck
Yeah.
just like we do. Us that have regular jobs. If they're not actively working,
Yeah.
they can't live. Some
Yeah.
some people have a little bit of a stockpile,
Yeah.
but for the majority, for like the 99th percentile,
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
people just don't have it. They just
Yeah.
don't.
That's because people are looking at like the upper 1%, looking at the Dwayne Johnsons, the Angelina Jolies, they're looking at the
Right.
Brad Pitts, who are like, the bona fide mega stars who literally could probably work one gig, and whatever that gig be could probably sustain them for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
But literally, like you said, 99% of us are middle to lower class. And the fact that these folks are making paycheck to paycheck kind of lifestyles and are still willing to go on strike, that just has to be a testament to how important these issues are and how
Yes.
willing folks are to kind of go, heels deep, dig their heels in, and just fight for what's necessary to, again, just make this a sustainable career for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you said that word sustainable. Like
Mhm.
it's it's really not.
Not
But
not the way it is now. No, not at all.
no,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what you guys are fighting for, to try it
Mhm.
to make it sustainable, that you don't have to um you're not always balls to the wall trying to find work. For for some people it's easier, for some people it's harder. Some people, everybody in the entertainment industry gets a lot of no's. Some people,
Mhm.
a lot of people get way more no's than other people.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And a lot of times it just comes down to riding the wave. And when that
Mhm.
wave is over, your bills still got to be paid, your kids still got to eat, they still got to go to school. Like,
Yeah.
entertainers are still people, they're still human beings. Just because you see them on TV does not
Mm.
mean that they have millions of dollars in their bank account.
Right.
Yeah,
it's
and it's
just it's just like any other profession.
yeah, and it's like we get it. It's a gig economy. We know that like when we're done
Hmm.
on set, the last day of that set of production, we got to look for another gig today, another gig tomorrow. So yeah, we understand
Hmm.
that. But it's just a matter of wanting what we are owed at the end of that production. If you're gonna go and put this show on a streaming service, yeah, we would like a piece of that pie. Or if my daughter's on set and someone touches her inappropriately, I want to make sure she's protected. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I want to make sure that you're not going to try and scan my image and use it in perpetuity to make AI generated actors or background actors or even prints for the
Hmm.
rest of our lives. You know what I mean? I
Hmm.
want to be protected when I'm on set working, making sure your production goes off without a hitch. I would like to make sure that I'm going to be happy with the product and the outcome as well. I feel like that'd be fair, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I'm glad that you said that about AI, because a lot of people have a misconception about AI. People are like on like one very far end of the spectrum. AI is evil, it's bad, the
Mhm.
robots are taking over. And that's not the case. I view it the
Yeah,
same way that I view it as social media. It
yeah,
in the hands of a particular person, it can either be a weapon or a tool.
of course.
And AI is not the end all be all, and that's why
Mhm.
the strike is happening, so it doesn't become the end all be all. So
Absolutely.
AI can be used as a tremendous tool for
Mhm.
good. I use Chat GPT to organize my
Right.
thoughts. I'm not
Absolutely.
using it to plagiarize. I'm using it
Yeah.
to organize, and that's what
Mhm.
you guys that's another thing that you guys are fighting for. You're fighting for AI to be regulated and not be being used for plagiarism.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just basic things we're asking for. If you go on the SAG website, you can have there's like a 4-page breakdown as far as the requests the union are making, and it's all like understandable stuff. No one's asking for anything that's just completely out of line or just completely strenuous or anything that'd be hard
Right.
for
Mhm,
Everything's
any.
reasonable. Yeah.
Everything's very
mhm.
reasonable, and the fact that that meeting happened a month or so ago and literally nothing was agreed upon, it was disheartening. And that's the reason we are where we are right now.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, it's sad, but like Justin said, the
Hmm.
last time something like this happened, we got residuals and health insurance. So
Hmm.
um, I firmly believe that something good is going to come out of this. It's
Oh,
just going
absolutely.
to be a very long road because the powers that be are very, very stubborn.
Yeah. And
I'm
they're
not
hoping
gonna name any names because I don't want to get nobody in trouble, but
that's the name.
there's
That's the name.
there's a there's a very big and you could go read it on anywhere, but there's a very big company that owns other big companies, and that particular guy said some very insensitive things about actors and writers, and
Right.
I was baffled at
Yeah.
what this person said. But
Right. I'm right there with you. We all were. I'm with you, bro.
I'm like,
Right.
Yeah.
how could you be so out of touch?
Yeah. It's like read the room at a certain point, but they didn't.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
decided not
he is
to,
not reading the room at all. Like he walked in the room with a blindfold on, bro.
Yeah.
um,
Another interesting thing about back then versus today is like back then, a lot of the studios were owned by creatives or run by kind of creatives, and now
mhm,
like so many studios have been sold to this company and that company that they're
mhm.
it's like Wall Street has kind of gotten involved more so
Mhm.
than being owned by people who kind of understand the entertainment industry.
It's
Mhm.
a
And I,
monopoly
you know,
now.
yeah, and so
Mhm.
I think that's also kind of part of the fight is like these people just don't really understand. They're looking at is profits and
Right.
not wanting to give away any of their profits and
Bottom
everything.
line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm glad you said that because I think that that is going to be the future of entertainment. I think it's going to kind of revert back to independently owned companies that we're seeing it right now
Yeah.
with social media influencers. Social media influencers are building empires. Kev on Stage has his own production company. He has his
Yeah.
own streaming service. Like he is
Mhm.
building his empire. Tyler Perry, who was not a social media influencer, but he
Mhm.
is a prime example of getting it out the mud, and
Yeah.
he did so in the 21st century. This stuff
Yeah.
is happening now, and it's going to continue happening. And what really changed it was COVID, when people had to go back
Yep.
home
Mhm.
and not be in the workforce, and they had to figure out a way to make money for themselves and not have to depend on somebody else's paycheck.
Yeah.
That is what really turned people on to entrepreneurship, and I am loving it because I am so not a 9 to 5 person.
I mean, and that was the one beautiful thing. Again, like everything that happened for me is because of COVID. Literally, I had the free time because my band wasn't touring at the time, and the voice acting kind of slowed down a little bit. Kept hearing about this app, TikTok. Made the video, had the time to explore the app and make more videos because of COVID. And here we are, the way things worked out. And like you said, COVID kind of sparked that entrepreneurial spirit in everyone. Let everybody know that it's not just about these 9 to 5s. It's not just about college. It's not just about
Mhm.
working for someone and hoping after 50 years you get that tap on the back and that pen saying good job. No, you can be your own boss. And in 20
Yes.
years, and in 20 years, if you do it right, you could retire. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like literally, it's just one of those snowballs where the more inspiration you see, um, the more people that do it, the more it's going to lead to more people wanting to do it. And I think in about 20 years, there's going to be a paradigm shift of the way the economy works, because no one's really going to want to work for anybody in about 20 or so years. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
I think most adults will end up at least attempting some kind of entrepreneurial, um, you know, um, prospect,
Hmm.
just because it's all out here. You're just seeing your friends and family either become actors or chefs or hairstylists, or like, opening their own medical practices or anything, just becoming their own bosses. And it's going to be contagious.
Absolutely. I 100% believe you. I think it might even be sooner than 20 years.
Mm,
Self-sufficiency
nah,
is going to be the new 9 to 5. And
mhm,
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I love that my kid, because there's a lot going on in this world, a lot of crazy stuff.
yeah,
But I love that my kid is going to grow up in a world where self-sufficiency is the norm.
yeah,
And it makes me excited for filmmakers and creators of
mhm,
the future, because we're going to see a lot a lot more original content. I know a lot of people
mhm,
um have voiced their opinions on reboots and remakes, and how the genre the industry is oversaturated with spectacle genre, and I can agree with that to an extent.
mm,
um but I'm just really excited to see um more original creativity and more original content. It's just really really exciting to see the little man become the big man right before our very eyes. And it's not because they came from money. It's not
yeah,
because they were given a handout. It's because they got up every day,
mhm,
stayed focused, removed the distractions, and just beelined
mhm,
toward the goal. And I love, love, love seeing these regular people
yeah.
come up. It warms my soul.
I mean, it's a new energy, man. Again, that
Yeah.
paradigm shift is happening. We're living in it, and it's cool that the kids we end up raising are going to be in that energy. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes, it's very exciting, very exciting. Um, but thank you again for those wonderful answers to the questions. But we're going to transition over into my favorite time, and that is draft time.
Mm,
And today's topic is favorite childhood TV shows. For those of you that don't know, I know a lot of you've been following me for a long time. You guys already know. But for those of you that don't know, draft time, we choose a particular topic. The host and the guest will make 5 picks, 5 rounds on that topic. Once a pick has been selected, it cannot be selected again, and it will be removing from the draft board completely. We don't have an official draft board, so we're going to just pick whatever comes to our minds. But once that pick has been selected, it cannot be picked again. Normally, the guest goes first, and we're going to have Stefan go first, followed by Justin, and then me. And this can be live action or animation, so don't
okay.
feel like you have to limit yourself. But
Okay.
without any further delay, let's get right into it. Mr. Johnson, you're on the clock.
Pokemon. Offer it.
Pokemon,
Yeah.
solid first pick.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That is a solid first pick. Stu, I got to steal this one from you, my friend.
Here we
Batman
go.
the
Here
animated
we go.
series.
Mm, mm.
All right, that's cool. Fire Justin. I'm sorry, was my mic still on?
Still hot. Mike's still hot.
Batman the animated series. Okay. I can't really go wrong with a lot of things right now for the first pick. But since we're doing animation, I'm gonna keep it at animation, and I'm going to go uh Justice League, the animated series. Keep it in the Bruce Timm universe. That is the one of, if not the best representation of the DC characters.
I agree. Okay, so back on me.
Yep.
All right,
Round two.
All right, I'm going to keep it, since you guys, Batman Justice League, I'm going to keep it superhero adjacent. I think this is superhero adjacent. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to go with Transformers Armada.
My man, let's
there.
go. Transformers Armada.
Yeah. The best.
So underrated.
The best. Oh, for
So
sure.
underrated.
Absolutely.
That
Yes.
entire trilogy is
Yes.
underrated. For those of you that don't know, Transformers Armada is the first of a trilogy. You got Transformers Armada, then you got Energon, then you got Cybertron. That whole trilogy is fire. But Armada is probably the best one.
Easily. Yes, sir.
Man, I'm so glad you said that. I'm a Transformers nerd.
Oh,
so
yes, sir.
I love anything that has to do with Transformers. I think it's a genius idea.
Oh,
A
absolutely.
robot that changes into a car?
Bro.
Man, I would have loved to have been in that meeting.
There we go.
All right, Justin, you're on the clock. I just got excited.
I've got some homework to do. It's Stefan. What year were you born?
89.
89. Okay, I was 83. So some of my, like, I did not actually. My Transformers was the original Transformers.
I feel you.
So I haven't seen Armada.
Peter
So I've got a
Cullen.
little homework to do. Actually, I haven't seen any of those three that you were just talking about,
Okay.
Stu. My number two pick. I'm gonna keep it with going with superheroes for a little while, and I'm gonna choose X-Men. Yeah.
Good one. Yeah, I see how this is gonna go. I'm gonna go with Spider-Man the animated series. Since you already got Batman and X-Men, I can't let you get Spider-Man.
All right. A lot of pressure right now. Oh, okay. I'm going to go with Avatar: The Last Airbender. Had to do it. My boy Aang, Qatar, got to do it.
What is that? We got a trade on the trade on the
Gotta get the
floor.
power players. Gotta get the power players.
Stu would like to trade Spider-Man for Avatar.
No dice. No dice. Fuck you. No.
Oh man, Avatar. Oh my god, that's one of my favorite shows of all time.
That might be my favorite cartoon. Between that and my next draft pick will be my two favorite cartoons ever.
Yeah. I firmly believe that after Batman and really after Batman, Avatar is one of the greatest TV show, the greatest animated television show ever.
Easily.
It is so good that I have never seen character development done so well,
and everything, like as far as like the storytelling, the animation, just how true they were, how true the animations of the actual bending arts were to like the martial arts they were based off of.
Yes,
you know what I mean, like the Tai Chi, the Hung Gar, all of it. It was like literally a move for move. Like they literally did their homework, just making it all make sense in the universe.
I think I know your next pick, and I'm probably gonna steal it.
We'll see. It's kind of a left field one, so we'll see.
Okay, left field one. Okay, we'll see.
Speaking of left field, for my next choice, I actually feel pretty safe that you guys aren't going to steal mine because mine are older than yours. But my next choice is going to be Animaniacs.
Damn.
Yeah, you're right. I wasn't gonna pick that.
Yeah,
Animaniacs is fucking classic.
It is, but. In my top 5 though, I don't know about that.
I loved Animaniacs, man. I was obsessed with it when I was a kid.
Could you do the song?
The song?
Not the theme song, but the song that
like the country song?
The country song.
No.
Yeah. Oh man. Animaniacs. Dragon Ball Z.
Damn. Yep. Okay.
I had to take it off the board because
clear.
I knew Stefan was gonna pick. I knew Justin wasn't gonna pick it.
That was going to be down the line. That wasn't going to be my next one, but that was going to be down the line. I had that in the reserves. Okay. I feel you.
Okay.
I feel you.
Had to take that off the board real quick. Justin's top heavy. Justin is top heavy right now.
Right. Okay. So
Fair.
my next pick is going to be one that flies under so many radars as far as like the storytelling and as far as like the long-term payoffs you get if you watch certain episodes in a row. King of the Hill.
Nice.
King
Nice.
of the Hill, I am convinced. Me and my wife literally just binged it like maybe about 2 months ago from season 1 to finish because we heard that it was coming back. And literally, it is one of the best written animated shows as far as comedy goes, as far as just like dry, witty, just humor. It's literally one of the best written cartoons in American history, in my opinion.
That's awesome.
That's a solid pick. That's a solid pick, man.
Yeah.
Justin, you up?
All right. I'm going even older now, and I'm gonna go with The Real Ghostbusters.
Oh, I don't think I'm hip.
Real Ghostbusters. That's a good one. That's a good one.
The Real Ghostbusters. Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna go with an older classic. It's not in my personal top 5. But I'm trying to win, and I don't want Justin to pick it. And that's gonna be the OG Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That was my next choice, man.
Okay.
Not anymore.
Feel you. So we each get one more.
Yep, we each get one more, and we'll do honorable mentions as well. We'll do honorable.
Okay. All right. I am going Saturday morning cartoons. Thinking 9 a.m. 5-year-old me, we were watching Recess.
Woo-hoo! Man,
yeah.
What you know about TJ Detweiler, man?
I knew he was an asshole, and I loved him for it. Him, Gretchen, fucking
Gus, Mikey, Spinelli, whose real name was Ashley.
Ashley Spinelli.
That was a classic episode. When we found out that her first name was Ashley, man, that was a classic episode. That's also one of my favorite animated movies of all time. Recess the movie. I love that movie. That's so underrated.
See, my favorite episode is when Mikey sang for the first time. You know what I mean? It was Michael Bublé, not Michael Bublé. God, what was his name? I forgot his
name.
Goulet. Robert Goulet, who was a singing voice that nobody knows the trouble I've seen. I'm like, oh, Mikey, got it. Yeah.
every time I think of Mikey is from the movie when he's singing Green Tambourine at the end of the movie. My green tambourine. Oh man, Justin, you up?
All right. Well, my 5th choice was going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but since you took that one from me, I think I'm gonna. So this show came on when I was in middle school, and it may not hold up as well today, but I still love it. And that's Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman.
Fair.
Nice. Yeah, we all got animation. That's the first live action one.
Yeah.
We got. I used to watch that when I was a little kid. I used to watch it in syndication at like 7:00 in the morning before I went to school, which leads me to my next pick. This is another show that I used to watch at about 7:30, right after the RoboCop animated series, and that is Beast Wars Transformers.
Fair. I dig it.
One of my favorites of all time. Definitely in my top 3. It's gonna be Batman, Avatar: The Last Airbender, and Beast Wars is in my subjective top 3.
I feel you.
And now we're gonna do honorable mentions. So we got our 5, and we're gonna do honorable mentions.
Okay. Are we just firing them off, or are we going like in a circle again?
We'll go in a circle again.
Okay. My first honorable mention would be Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I was heavy into the trading card game for about 10 years of my life. So I gotta throw in a mention of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, definitely. Good choice. Good choice. Justin?
This show is, I don't know how well known it is anymore, but I loved it when, again, this was kind of a middle school show, but it was called Sequest DSV. And it was basically a Star Trek kind of ripoff that was set underwater. You know, and the first 2 seasons, Roy Scheider from Jaws was the captain. And I just, something about it, because I didn't like Star Trek when I was a kid, big Star Trek fan now. But as a kid, I didn't like Star Trek, but Sequest, something about Sequest, I just was all about. So yeah, that would be one of my honorable mentions. Yeah.
I remember seeing reruns of that. I never actually watched the show, but I remember seeing the reruns of it come on late at night on the TV guide.
Yeah.
Back when there was the scroller channel.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I actually got
Um,
the whole series on Blu-ray here. Hold on.
you look like you got the whole series on Blu-ray.
I see it.
I see it in your eyes, bro. Oh,
Sequence.
snap.
Yep, that looks very familiar.
Oh, man.
The what is the tagline is beneath the surface lies the future.
Oh, God.
That's
Who
a
is that?
great
Who's that
tagline.
guy on the,
The cover, that guy?
yeah.
Yeah, that's Roy
That's
Scheider.
Roy
He was
Scheider.
the main character from Jaws, the main actor.
Oh, God.
Sorry, my
Yeah.
camera doesn't.
He almost
focus
looks like Loki for some reason. I don't know. I can't think of Loki's real
Tom
name.
Hiddleston.
Tom
Tom
Hiddleston.
Hiddleston, yeah.
Yeah, he's older than that.
Yeah,
Well,
gotcha.
actually, Roy Scheider has since passed away, but
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
My honorable mention, well, my first honorable mention, gonna go back to superheroes. It's gonna be Teen Titans, the OG.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Very,
Um,
very, very fair.
another great show as far
Mhm.
as the animation was fire.
Yeah.
A great dynamic cast of characters,
Yeah.
and I loved the characterization of those characters, because when those episodes got heavy, they
Mhm.
got heavy. Like
Mhm.
when the Terra episodes, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
broke my heart.
Yeah. That was a real one. That was a real one.
All right, one
Um,
more round of honorable mentions.
my final one, which honestly should have been on my main list, higher up on that main list, Hey Arnold, because Hey Arnold tackled some very heavy issues in a very discreet way. Everything from street violence to parent neglect
Mm-hmm.
to homelessness,
Mm-hmm.
everything, and they just made it seamless, and you would never know they're tackling such even addiction. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like a chocolate kid, whatever his name over.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like they tackled everything from a Nickelodeon standpoint, and they knocked it out of the park. Hey Arnold for sure.
Now, I I didn't watch Hey Arnold a whole lot when I was a kid, but
Mhm,
I've been watching it more as an adult, and I
mhm,
agree with everything you're saying.
yeah,
It tackles some really heavy subject matter, especially for a television show. So
mhm,
yeah, I can agree with you there. That's underrated as far as writing goes.
absolutely.
Justin, your final honorable mention?
Um, I guess it would probably be the original Transformers, which maybe should have been on my list,
G1.
but
Mhm,
yeah, but that one it came on when I was young, so like I remember watching it. I definitely remember playing with the toys, but I don't remember it as well as the five that I have on my list.
Mhm.
mhm, fair.
I'm gonna keep it superhero, and I'm gonna go with a newer one, which is kind of cheating because it's not part of my childhood, but
Mhm,
it's
go
still
for
fantastic,
it. Mhm.
and that's Young Justice.
I am not hip to Young Justice yet. I keep hearing amazing things about it, but I am not hip
Do
to it yet.
yourself a favor, climb
Yeah.
from under that rock, and watch Young Justice. Young
Okay.
Justice is um all the great things about Teen Titans,
Yeah.
but for an older audience.
Okay.
So whereas Teen Titans was more for the 10 and 11-year olds, Young
Yeah.
Justice is more for the 14-year olds.
I got you. Okay.
Um, and they also get really heavy on, acceptance and mental illness and
Mm,
sacrifice. Like it is a very, very good animated series.
I'll look it up.
So all right, and that does it for draft time. I'm gonna go through these picks again. We got our guest of honor, Stefan Johnson, with Pokemon, Transformers Armada, Avatar, The Last Airbender. So mad that you picked that. King of the Hill and Recess, with the honorable mentions of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Hey Arnold. Then we have Justin with Batman the Animated Series, X-Men the Animated Series, Animaniacs, Real Ghostbusters, and The Adventures of Superman, Lois and Clark, with the honorable mentions of Sequest and Transformers Generation 1. And we have me with Justice League, the animated series, Spider-Man, the animated series, Dragon Ball Z, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the OG, and Beast Wars, with the honorable mentions of Teen Titans and Young Justice. Um, since we have Stefan as a guest, I think we're going to have quite a few people watching this episode. So we are going to let the chat, or not the chat, the comments vote on who
Determine the winner.
won
Yeah.
this draft. I got a pretty good idea who people are going to pick. But I'm gonna mention that after we finish recording. But once again, Stefan, thank you for coming through. I appreciate you taking this time out of your schedule to be here. We had a wonderful conversation today. And I cannot wait to edit this episode. So I did want to, like, I want to start doing this. I want to start asking my guests
Mhm.
these three questions. It's kind of like a inside the actor studio type thing.
Okay.
So this is going to be kind of rapid fire.
Okay.
Favorite movie of all time?
Ooh, Law-Abiding Citizen with Jamie Foxx.
Whoo, solid choice.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite food of all time?
Ooh, damn. Ribs, barbecue ribs. With competition style.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Least favorite movie of all time?
The Notebook. Can't do that sappy shit.
Oh man, you just lost brownie. You just lost brownie points with my wife. Least favorite food of all time?
Chillins. Yeah.
I'm with you when you're right.
Yeah, I'm not that black. I am not that African American.
Favorite word?
I was thinking if I could say it here, but I've already said it multiple times on here. Fuck. Yeah.
Well, that answers the next question. What's your favorite curse word?
Oh
yeah. Your least favorite word?
Moist.
Everybody says moist.
Yeah.
And a sound that you love to hear?
Oh, damn. Fries frying in grease.
Fries frying in grease is a good sound.
Answer.
I was going to say chicken frying, but I didn't want any racist assholes.
You didn't want to get too black.
Of course he loves chicken. Of course he loves chicken. God.
As far as the sound, I would have said the sound of the Transformers. That is a heavenly sound. Oh man. But once again, thank you for coming. I appreciate you taking the time out. Is there anything that you want to say to the people? Any advice that you want to give new influencers or new filmmakers or anybody in the creative space at all?
Oh yeah. I guess just start now. Whatever you're thinking that you want to eventually do, when you get the time, when things work out for you, when you get up your funds, whatever, it's just start now. Whether it's starting off small, just do what you can now to get that ball rolling. That's it.
Yeah, solid advice.
Yeah.
Definitely going to take that advice. But that about wraps it up for this episode of Studio Time. Thank you all for joining me for this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube, write a review on wherever you're listening to your podcast. Don't forget to vote on Draft Time. Let us know who you think had the best draft. But that about wraps it up for this episode. I'm going to leave Stefan's information in the show notes and in the descriptions, but I probably don't need to do that because they're already following you anyway. But I'm going to do it anyway because that's the right thing to do. But once again, thank you guys for joining me. In the meantime, we are going to go watch some more movies.